So after that, a few months later, a lot of things had calmed down. There was a lot of peace. There was a lot of restoration, not complete restoration, but there was restoration. Even though I was living in a separate household, we were going out together independently, alone, not as a couple, but as friends going through a process, as parents going through a process, and just for adult time. And we were going out together with the kids as well. And I could no longer take advantage. It was 9 months. I could no longer take advantage of the hospitality my amazing friend had given me. And if I wasn't going to be granted the divorce that I had requested, then it was time to move back home and move in another bedroom, which at the time was my son's bedroom, to continue to fight this fight, the good fight of faith. Amen. Of course, I was hoping for reconciliation. I was hoping for, God to move mightily, because there had been a lot of things that transpired that was going to be hard to come back from. But His grace was sufficient, and all I continued to want was His will in my life. And until I had His will, until whatever was presented to me, I felt in my spirit was His purpose, I would not settle. I would not settle. And I began to realize when I went back that a lot of the things I was going through was shaping me, was helping me get rid of anger, was helping me get rid of outbursts, was helping me to become a better woman, a proverbial woman, a woman of valor. Was I perfect? Absolutely not. I had my moments. But most of the time, I spent in my prayer room just seeking God for answers, seeking God for peace, seeking God for guidance. Even though it was good to be home, it was harder because now I was seeing Him get dressed and go out. I was smelling the cologne that he was wearing, whatever night lingering. I was hearing the car at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and I would cringe on the weekends. We would have a beautiful week, and on the weekends it was just real life. But in the meantime, until we decided what we were going to do, and He granted me the divorce in order for us to legally go our separate ways and decide what we were going to do with our children and decide what was going to happen. I needed to be home with my children. I was ready to be home with my children, and I was stronger to be able to take the beating, and I'm not talking about a physical beating, because I wasn't physically abused, but the beating and the spiritual, the things I would hear, the things I would see. It was just, it became hard, but once again, because of that consecration period, because of God's mercy, because of God's grace, I was be able to go ahead now and fight inside the fire while not being burned. Now I started to see how, because of previously being a foolish housewife, even as a woman of God, having outbursts and just getting all in my emotions, how I was being tested, how I was being pushed, by the enemy to try to bring out, the former me. And thank God for God's, wisdom, the wisdom that, the Spirit began to give me. I started to realize that I had to continue to fight this fight in the spiritual, For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers of darkness in high places. So in order to go ahead and win this battle, and not only the battle in my marriage, the battle that was going on within me, I had to fight this fight in the spirit. There was nothing I could say or nothing I can do that was going to go ahead and change the situation. It was the power of God and the faith that I had to have in Him to destroy all yokes and everything that was transpiring, everything that was happening in the spiritual realm. We would have conversations and he would say, I love you, but the reason I don't want to be with you is because you and I are not alike. He would say, I want someone that's into tattoos and free, but at the same time loving. You see, you're loving, but you love God more. So that's who you need to be with. He didn't like my relationship with the Lord. He didn't understand it. He wanted no part of it. He said, I don't want to divide you from your faith. I don't want you to change who you are, even though unfortunately many times I did. Oh yeah, I tried that route, I tested that route, and it didn't work. Because that's what we came from. That's how we met, unequally yoked. He liked that about me. He liked the craziness. He liked the clubbing. He liked that I used to like popping bottles with him. But God has a plan for my life, and that wasn't His plan. So when he would go out and I wouldn't go out to be his arm candy, that was a problem. Because I wouldn't worship the ground he walked on. In his eyes, that was a problem. Now he didn't realize that worshiping the ground you walk on is taking care of you, feeding you, taking care of your children, praying for you, loving you unconditionally, saving herself, a woman that saves herself for you, that she's not out there looking for another relationship or flirting or just, being wayward. See, he didn't understand the difference, or should I say the benefits, from a godly woman that'll pray for you, that will stand in the gap for you. He wanted someone that had tats with, their half of their head shaved, or I don't know, but it wasn't me. And it hurt to the core. And I used to tell myself, I used to be like, what is wrong with him? Does he know what he's even asking for? And then I just started to go ahead and analyze what he was saying. And what he was asking for was death. What he's asking for was lust. What he was asking for was fornication. What he was asking for would destroy him, mind, body, and spirit. And I said, who asked for that? Who asked for that in a relationship? Who asked for that in a lifestyle? And then right there, I had another revelation. A lost husband. A lost soul. Who wouldn't want a virtuous woman of God? Who consecrates herself, who is separated for one man and one man alone. After I started to realize that he didn't know what he was asking for, he didn't know what he wanted, the Holy Spirit started to show me that I also needed to go ahead and lay down my life to continue to pray for him, to continue to intercede for him, and to start working towards forgiveness. And right there, I felt like such a hypocrite, because the Holy Spirit reminded me of the many sins he had thrown into the sea of forgetfulness for me. And the same way he had done that for me, I needed to work towards that for my husband. The deliverance continued to help me realize that for so many years, because of the things that had transpired, I was walking in unforgiveness, requiring more from my husband, requiring him to make up for what he had done, expecting him to fill a supernatural space, a void that was in me that he would never be able to fill, no matter how much of a good man he was. When I say good man, I'm talking about his demeanor, things that good traits that he did have in him. And because of that, he felt belittled, he felt inadequate, and that's why he would go out and look for those voids to be filled, or his needs to be met, because he felt that he couldn't fill my needs as a woman because of, like I said, what I felt I was looking for in him. We were just both looking for something that we were never going to fill. The only one that could do that was the Holy Spirit. And at the time, I was learning that. But now it was time for me to once again lay down my life and try to show him Christ. Because Christ, the Holy Spirit, was the one that was carrying both of us. We were going through the fire and not being burned, because we still had good times. Our kids were still succeeding in a lot of things. There was just a veil over them. We still had love for each other despite what was going on. True love, I can say true love. And we were going through the water, but we weren't drowning. We were in a process. The Holy Spirit was moving. And God, no matter what it looked like, was having his way.
This book is dedicated to every woman who has loved hard, faithfully, honestly, and wholeheartedly while giving her life as a ransom, and in return was judged, cheated, rejected, mocked, despised, hated, and persecuted. My prayer for you is that you begin to learn displaying strength, held under control, while keeping your power in reserve and allowing God's grace to mold you, laughing at the days to come, understanding the weapons of your warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God. The Man of My Dreams, written by Nirene Pomales, available on Amazon and ValorCouture.com.